Bail reform once again sparking a debate on whether those policies are hurting ordinary citizens. The woman seen shoving a person into an oncoming subway train in New York City was apparently out on bail, stemming from assault charges back in July. The suspect is now charged with attempted murder. Now, Jesse, I'd start with you. The idea of bail reform, I think last year, 2 years ago here in New York, was to try to help non-violent offenders who were first-time offenders, if they didn't have the money to make bail, to have an opportunity to not serve more in jail than they would if they got convicted of a crime. This is absurd, what we're dealing with here. Is there a distinction that should be made between non-violent first-time offenders and violent offenders?
Well, why didn't they write it like that, Harold? They wrote it like an idiot would write it. No, your party wrote it like a bunch of idiots. So now you can commit violent crimes, be a repeat offender, and then get bailed out. It was designed so that very poor people, if they committed a non-violent offense, weren't saddled with debt and they could come out of jail and then fight the charge. But it's not like that. Now it's just a revolving door for criminals. And it might have been well-intentioned, but it backfired. The same way people are now coming around the Democrats to defund the police was stupid. They're coming around the bail reform was stupid. This is what we need to do in this country. We need to look at policy results instead of policy intentions. If you are intentional and you want to make everyone be perfect, okay, give it a year. If it blows up and causes crime in a year, switch it back. Why do we have to dig in ideologically on dumb laws that create more crime just so we could pat ourselves in the back by the left? Just switch the bill. Fix it. You're already getting people hurt.
This is one of the examples, of listening when you hear on Fox. I don't agree that all Democrats are idiots, but I do agree that we should switch the policy. No, Judge, you know this. So think about it. Is it nonviolent or violent? I think we got 2 votes. Should we distinguish between nonviolent and violent criminals, first-time offenders?
Well, it's not just between violent and nonviolent. There are some nonviolent crimes that are, in essence, violent. So if I had an economic crime that involved a 90-year-old woman who ends up losing her home, to her, that is as violent as you can get. When you've got someone involved in identity theft or some kind of fraud, that can be as violent as any other crime. But let me tell you something. They didn't write it like a bunch of idiots. They wrote it like they wanted it. They want chaos, anarchy, and it will never be changed in New York. No? Because we do not have a legislature that will agree to impose bail, which is a constitutional consideration. The 8th Amendment, all right? It's not like it was never considered part of the structure. And you know what's crazy about this woman who slammed the other woman into a passing train, who got her jaw broken and her nose broken? She was arrested 7 times before. Not one time did they do an evaluation as to whether or not she was a threat to herself or others. A lot of these people are mental. We're just bringing them out and making us all victims. I could riff for an hour, but I'm not going to do it. That's it. It's disgusting.
You've talked about the mental health issues on our streets. How does that play into all of this?
Well, this is in the hands of the wife of Bill de Blasio, runs an $800 million initiative to help the mentally ill. And what we're seeing instead is no results, and there's no accountability because she's married to the mayor. Is he going to launch an investigation? No one's doing that. This actually is another thing that we were talking about, how feminists just basically abandoned cinema.
Yep.
This is a war on women because many of these women are the victims. This woman who was mentally ill, almost all of her victims were women. Right? And you hear about the elderly Asian women being beaten up on the streets. So this violent crime has somehow, I think about the activists. Think about the female activists that you saw on TV during the BLM stuff and all that stuff. And they're always anti-cop this, anti-cop that. Who's going to protect the women on the street? Not those female activists. So they throw their gender under the bus to kind of preserve their mutant ideology, right? It's too important for them. The idea of being anti-police or anti-gun is too important. So if a thug assaults a woman and then another woman, the well-protected female activist will always side with the thug, a true misogynist from head to toe.
Dana, criminal justice reform has been side, I mean, Democrats, Republican alike like that. How do you reconcile that with? Because I agree with just about everything.
I would imagine that people that, like, for example, with the bipartisan criminal justice reform that happened under President Trump, I would imagine that all of those people in a room could all agree that this is bad.
Right.
That liberal prosecutors are bad. That bail reform is that's not the way to go, because what's going to happen is that all the other kind of things that they want to do with criminal justice reform, just like with immigration reform, all of it gets harder as these things get pushed and not dealt with.
Just to piggyback on that, if you're a liberal activist, female, you do not care about domestic violence, because they released a guy in Virginia who beat the crap out of his wife or girlfriend, and then when they let him out, came back and murdered her. A liberal DA allowed that to happen.
We're back to the 70s, back where we started.
Look, I think we're right. I don't think liberals have a monopoly on stupidity, but ahead, more 25th anniversary fun. A special fan mail is coming your way.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.